Welcome to the Fifth Gold Podcast. I'm your host, Eric.
And I'm co-host Scott.
And today we're starting the chapters 1 through 5 of Death Lord Arcanist. This is the fourth book in the Academy series. And so exciting. Before we get into today's episode, though, we always love to thank everybody for listening. If you could show us some love by sharing, commenting, subscribing, all that fun stuff. Let us know what you're thinking. Along with the Capital Station Discord server link is down in the description below, along with the Fifth Chronicles wiki link, just so that you can go over and join in on the fun over there. And with that, we'll get into this book.
Chapter 1 starts out, we are trapped in the Abyssal Hells. This place is just creepy. There's all sorts of weird things that you would see in horror movies, and like moving hands and bugs and gross. Knovak doesn't trust Deimos, and one, I understand, it's fair, but you're in his world, you're dying, you don't really know anybody else, better get to trust him, dude.
No, he doesn't have the best track record here, but I feel like you're at a point where you don't have the luxury to not trust him.
No, beggars can't be choosers at some point. So, Knovak, along with Ashlynn, are both dying. They don't have anything to protect them from the magic of the Abyssal Hells. So, Gray has a soul fragment, and then Nini is a Reaper Arcanist, so she's also protected. We do find out that the orchard that they're going through, which has this giant lake in it, that lake will steal strength, so they're taking this mini break before regrouping and swimming to the island. Unfortunately for them, Deimos is pretty injured. Deathlord Naiad tried to graft his soul onto her dragon, which is not a fun process, so he is trying to recover, but he's going to be very limited if there is an altercation. And he does let them know that they are on the first level of the abyss, so this is about as nice as it gets,
which makes me kind of scared as to what it would look like on not the first level.
Yeah, get to level 5 and really amp it up.
With this, we started in chapter 2. And Twain is talking about all of the compliments that he can get as being the best mimic in the Abyssal Hells, because Gray is calling upon Twain again to transform so that way they can continue on their venture. And this gives us that cute little moment of, damn well this is every cat ever. Doesn't matter that he's the only mimic in the Abyssal Hells right now, but
makes him the best.
Exactly. Gray does help Deimos untwist his paper towel of a soul so that it can start to heal properly again. And this is something that's a very finesse kind of thing, and definitely not something to mess up on. However, Gray does not get a chance to complete this, as Twain does not have the energy to be able to continue to be an Abyssal Dragon. Deimos does not trust Gray, especially because, as he's doing this thing with his soul, he's expecting Gray to just be like, yoink, mine now, and then graft it onto Twain, but hey, Gray's a stand-up guy, okay? Gray does ask for an apology from D, but D does remind Gray it's Gray's fault, essentially. It kind of all goes back to Gray somehow, even though Deimos and Zahn were the ones that originally building this Gate of Crossing, so I don't think it's really Gray's fault. I think they should have just not used Gray.
It feels like one of those, if you would have just died the way you were supposed to, we wouldn't be in this mess.
So on their way to the tree, they're going to go under... Knovak wants some tasting looking grapes, and Deimos is like, absolutely do not eat anything, as everything that you see, feel, touch, hear, smell is all some form of a soul or body, so do not eat anything. All caps, exclamation point, underline, bold, italicized, quotation marks, like big red flag. And we were asked about, well, what happens if eldrin eats these, anything from here. We find out they turn into an elder creature, and that the creatures will grow and they will get a lust for power. So definitely do not want to eat anything here. 9 pomegranates.
Chapter 3 is the roots. So they are climbing up this tree, flower, plant thing, and Akrib has to carry Starling. Starling is, 4-legged, doesn't really climb that well with hooves, and, not really his finest suit. So Akrib's carrying him. Ashlynn's carrying Twain. There are what Deimos refers to as the fingers of rebirth, and he says, oh, these shouldn't bother you. But yeah, if I touch like seaweed in the water, I kind of freak out. So if like a hand grabbed me in the water, I'd panic. And Deimos is like, as long as you don't panic, they'll just let go. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm panicking.
It's like with Majora's Mask, when you're going through the water temple and they're the hand, like the doxy hands that are hanging down. That is what it reminds me of, and it still creeps me out to this day.
Gross.
Yeah.
Gray does start to flounder, but luckily Ashlynn is there to save him. They do finally get to this route that they're going to, and it is just absolutely stunning. It is beautiful. It's majestic. It's kind of this contrast to everything else they've seen in the Abyssal Hells, which is so not dreary, but just like odd and creepy. And this is like, oh, this is some beautiful, beautiful foliage.
And into chapter 4, Reincarnation. We do need to do some platforming to get to the top of the tree, because at the top of the tree is where they basically get reincarnated, I guess, however that works with them still being alive. But thankfully we have some mushroom caps and vines that are sticking out of the wall of this tree to be able to get up onto. So anything that is magical in the real world, we find out, is essentially a fragment of somebody's soul. And we learn kind of more of the process of the souls being reincarnated, and anything that when a person passes away, anything that has been completely and totally satisfied, their acceptance of being that part of the soul has been fulfilled, goes on to the stars and the moon and so on and so forth. Anything that did not get fulfilled during that time goes back to the Abyssal Hells. And then, depending on how bad you are, how good you are, so on and so forth, depends on where you land, and then reincarnate. Except for the blackhearts. So they go straight to hell. Like, straight to level 3, and then beyond if needed. So 3 or 4 or 5. Like, just straight to jail.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Exactly. We do also get a reminder that this is why the Abyssal Hells need to be opened back up for the natural flow of things, as no more Death Lords are being made, and that so that way they can take on the lackwits of the other Death Lords in the Abyssal Hells. D also wants to be able to go claim his territory that he was promised and owed. And you know what? I don't blame the man. He probably got signed on for a lot longer than what he was expected to. And naturally, as everything else happens, Gray and Ashlynn get into this competition of who can reach the top of the tree first.
Chapter 5 is the climb. Don't look down. Just don't. Yeah, it's a long way down. They're climbing for a while. Gray wants to kind of understand more about true forms and really see, he does not like heights. So he's like, oh, maybe this is my way to beat it. If I can beat this heights, can then I achieve true form, because I'll have conquered fear. But so far, no true form coming to bear. Ashlynn is leading the way. Everybody else is starting to fall behind. Starling especially isn't doing well, so struggling both with the magic of the Abyssal Hells as also with just trying to climb and being a unicorn. We do find out that the Abyssal Dragon for Deimos is Hector, which I do love as a name. It just feels very dragony. So I do love, our 3-legged Hector now.
Shammy, maybe a plushie. Maybe for the next one, plushie of Hector.
I would love it. The little leg and it just falls over. You can't actually stand it up straight. It just falls all the time.
Oh my lord. Yes.
Nini is very confident that they will make it out, and I do actually like this. It's a very subtle but a very Soren influence on Nini. This positivity creeping through, where before she was not confident at all with anything, and suddenly they're in this dire situation and she's like, yeah, we'll do it, we'll make it out. And it's go Soren, because that is Soren just seeping his goodness into Nini. They have this discussion with Deimos because they're wondering about people in the Abyssal Hells and how that works. And Knovak gets real bold. He's like, yo, D, you kiss anyone lately?
I really don't think that's something that he'd probably have happen very often down there.
No, probably not. There's not a lot of great choices when you think who's down there. And also, Knovak, you're really pressing some buttons because you know the answer to this question. Is D really the one you want to press the buttons for? This dude will not hesitate to kill you.
And Knovak acting like he be all kissing up on girls all the time anyways, like he's a ladies' man or something.
Yeah, he's not macking on anyone either. And that leaves off with the intro to Death Lord Arcanist.
I always love her introduction chapters to the next book. She does such a good job. Does that just enough introduction to remind you what's going on, but it's not that beat you in the head for the next for the first few chapters to start off the next book with what happened last book.
It still gets you excited for what's coming. It's enough of a bridge recap plus oh yeah, I do actually want to read this. There are some books, whenever I open a book and it's recap of events, I'm like, oh, skip that chapter. But this actually makes me want to read the intro.
And even going directly from
Abyssal Arcanist?
Yes.
I was doubtful for a second there too. I was like, man, we've only spent 2 months on this book, but is it Abyssal Arcanist?
I always want to say Labyrinth. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about Labyrinth, but I always want to say Labyrinth.
Every book should be Labyrinth. Every book we've read, every book we're going to read. It starts with Mimic and is preceded by 4 labyrinths in a row.
Even having that time between, it's just that short enough. And then, for us going from last week reading Death Lord or Abyssal to Death Lord this week, it's still that it's not overbearing on it. So again, I've always enjoyed her recaps. With that, it ends today's episode. Next week we'll be getting more into it with 6 through 10 of Death Lord Arcanist. And Scott, do you have anything else you'd like to add today?
No, excited to explore the Abyssal Hells.
All right, with that, we'll catch you guys next week.